Well, hello everybody, and welcome to Today I'll. I'm Calixian, and today I'll be making ground venison from scratch with this thing. This is an ancient meat grinding device. It used to be my grandfather's. Hasn't been used in about, I would say a decade or two, so I'm going to throw it in this pot of boiling water to sterilize it. It's nice and clean, but I want to make sure that it's sterile. So I'm going to throw all the parts in and let them boil for about a half hour or so. There we go. So after it boiled off for about a half hour, I drain the water, and I'm just going to leave it in the pot here while I get the other ingredients ready. I'm going to put some fresh rosemary in this ground meat. Luckily, I still have some growing in the garden. It looks pretty good. So I'll harvest some of this and chop it all up. And we'll put that in along with some garlic powder and some onion powder and some pepper. Alright. So as some of you know, I got my deer on the 4th of November, which was a Saturday. I was only up in my blind for about 10 minutes when he wandered over. I was pretty proud of myself. My first deer ever. And it was a really good shot too. I tell you, textbook. I hung the meat for about 2 days, and then I butchered it and put it in the fridge, a separate fridge all by itself, for about 4 more days to let it age. So as you can see here, it's a worm drive. You just add the meat and it slowly, sort of like a screw, it pushes it out of the end. It forces it to go through, and there's this little chopper bit that kind of keeps rotating, and basically it separates the meat from the not so good stuff, like the silver skin, the tendons, the whatever. So what comes out is just delicious pure meat. As you can see, I've got an old shingle on the table there, which is kind of preventing any kind of damage to the table, because you have to really bolt it down pretty tight. Takes a lot of arm work, but as you can see, the meat looks really good. It's coming out in very fine pieces. This is actually the larger of the 2 blades, so I think you can get it even finer if you wanted to. You can get machines that do this, electrical powered machines, but I don't know, something about the old-fashioned way is just appealing to me. I think it makes a better product, personally. Took me about 2 hours or so to do all that I had left. After I did all the butchery, there was little bits and pieces of things left over that were too small to cook up a steak or roast, so I just added them to the pile for making ground meat. So I've got the rest of this bag to do, and then once I've got it all ground up, I'm going to add my fat. So I did about ½ pound of bacon, and I'm putting about ¼ pound of suet, beef suet, in here. Then I'm going to mix it by hand to give it a primary bind, just to kind of incorporate everything together, the herbs and spices, the fats. We'll mix that all together. All told, I have roughly 10 pounds or so of meat. And once I've got it all mixed up and bound together, I'm going to pass it through once more just to break up any larger pieces, incorporate the fats and everything else. So we'll get to that in a moment. Alright, I think that's looking pretty good. Alright, so let's pass it through the grinder one more time. There's something to be said about doing things the old-fashioned way. I don't know what it is that appeals to me so much, but hey, if the world ended and there was no electricity, I could still have hamburgers. The finished product looks really, really good. I mean, it looks no different than ground meat you'd buy at the store. So that alone is definitely appealing, but it tastes so good. I mean, the little hits of spice that I added to it, you know, the pepper and the garlic powder and the onion powder and the rosemary, it adds a lot just to the base flavor. And of course, you can tweak it from there. And this is what the finished product looks like. Not bad at all. Altogether, I got 8 1-pound portions out of it. Another pound was put to these meatballs over here, which we had for supper. And I had another pound that I put in the freezer already that I mixed in with some sausage spices. So yeah, about 10 pounds of ground venison. Thanks for watching.